Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to SevTech Ages. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I spent about 24 hours, pretty close to 24 hours, of actual playtime since last episode working on that mill house. I spent a very long time on it. Now one thing I do want to show you, I did upgrade our tools to the Black Quartz AIoT. The only piece that I had not made was the hoe, and then I was out of black quartz. I now have 37 black quartz left over. So I did upgrade this. It just has more durability. The reason I went ahead and made the switch is because Xavian brought up on the chat the other day, the AIoT only requires at max like 3 black quartz to fully repair it. Just like any other tool, only takes like 3 of a material to fully repair, and of course it has like 3 times the durability of a standard tool. So, do you guys want to go see the mill house? It's come along. It's come a long ways. So there we go. We have ourselves a mill house. It's massive. Let's go over there. Let's head on over. And for the most part, I think I'm mostly done. I might add some stuff. Once we get planters and things like that, I may add that to it. Originally, I was thinking I was going to need tracks, but I came up with something different that I like a lot more than tracks. I may add some little stuff up here, but see, I can't chisel and bit this bottom section. And I can't chisel and bit this top section because they have slabs and thatch that make up those sections. So I can only chisel and bit the middle section there. So, yeah. Anyways, if we come down here, we have, like, this is kind of like a little shipping area. If you want to see this side of it. That's what that side looks like. And it was actually brought up in the comments. And it was a total derp on my part. My water wheel was rotating in the wrong direction. So the ocean's that way, not this way. So I had it rotating incorrectly. So it needs to go clockwise, so that way the water is actually it's flowing in the direction of the ocean, which only makes sense, right? So anyways, oh, I love that. It's actually a bug where it's like shadowed in because I have string up there to keep the vines from going down. If the vines grow down, it stops up the water wheel. There's actually a zombie in there, and let's see if I can kill him real quick. There we go. But anyway, so the water wheel is now fixed. So, sorry about that. It was a total derp on my part. And originally I was thinking about bringing the bottom roof section out farther than the top roof, but I actually like it. It's a little bit different. I don't know if it's practical, but I actually like it's kind of more of like, this one's more of like a shade roof, so to speak. So anyways, over here, this is where I was going to use tracks, like the standard vanilla log pile, where you put tracks down the side. It looks like it's all banded together. I use chisel and bits, and I use the cloth rope block. And I think it turned out pretty good. I did do quite a bit of chisel and bits, or a little bit of chisel and bits. Actually, over here, these are wood moldings, but these right here are chiseled wood to the same shape as a molding. And the reason I had to do that is, for whatever reason, the molding has that bug where certain directions, it doesn't do certain directions. It doesn't render or whatever, so I just had to do that instead. But anyways, let's go ahead and head on inside. And look at this. There's just stuff everywhere. So, most of this stuff is just decorative. Like, I added a Actual Editions compost bin. This is a cupboard. There's nothing in it at the moment. I'm probably going to put some stuff in it. Oh, over here, this is a spinning wheel from Better with Add-ons. And what this does, I think I've got... Yeah, this is our millstone. All the cobblestone, all that ugly cobblestone's gone. This is chiseled rope blocks. And then I just did dark oak for the borders. And, of course, it chucks the items out to the hoppers, and then they go into this chest here. And that's input, so... I figured that looked a little bit better than the cobblestone. That was actually one of the last things I did in here when I was finalizing this little area, and I'm very, very happy with it. So I've got a little chair here, so we can just sit down in the chair, and what you do is this spindle, it just takes like 3 sticks. Yeah, 3 sticks to craft it. You could take and you could throw like your hemp fibers or whatever on there, and oh yeah, hemp fibers, do they not work? Let's see. Oh, it doesn't actually use the spindle. Some of these things, what you can do is, like the bolt of string, if you do 8 string and you throw it on top of the spindle, it'll turn it into that bolt of string. And then you can take that and you can craft it back into 8 string. It's a way to compress it. That does consume the spindle. I was thinking we threw it on the spindle though, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you throw the stuff on the spindle. I have the chair here. Normally this works, but it didn't. And in this case, it made hemp cloth for us, which I don't think we really have any use for, but, well, we'll use it for wind sails later on, so that's fine, because we're going to be using some of those before too long, but, anyways, you can kind of compress. I'm not going to go over all the recipes. It's all in NEI, but just set that up in a little chair so we can do some spindling. And right back here, this is where the power comes in, and then I have all these slats. And I seem to remember seeing this in mill houses, right? Like in pictures and stuff like that, where they have like that thing around the axles. So I guess it's like a guard or something. So I kind of wanted to replicate that inside of here. And then I've just got like water, just kind of for decorative purposes. If we step out here, this is our logging area. So eventually I may have it so it looks like wood's actually coming down from the tree farm into the logging area. You know, do something like that, but that's a project for another day. I spent long enough on this project for right now. So anyways, this is just rope kind of coming down. This is a really neat mechanic. If you take the rope, you take this hemp rope and you attach it to a fence, and then you attach it to a fence adjacent, like opposite it. It has to be at the same Y level and everything, sadly. You can make this rope bridge, but you do have to have basically a piece of rope for each block space. So it does end up taking a lot of hemp to do this kind of stuff, but I was actually trying, there's a limit. I'm not sure exactly the distance limit, but I was trying to actually span one from over here over to there at one point, just kind of playing around with it. But I was never able to get it to span, even when I had like 20 blocks of hemp rope on me. So, but another nice feature about that is you can actually take and you can put planks onto this, see, and you can make a bridge. Like entities can actually cross that bridge, which we're going to be using that a bit later on. I don't know, can I, yeah, I can just pull those off, okay. But you could put those across there and make like a little rope bridge. So it has to go straight. You can't do any turns or anything like that, but it's kind of nifty. Kind of a little nifty thing. And then over here we have sawdust. You can see this is a lot. I actually have some sawdust and bark up there, but this is most of what I made in the process. And this is like just little bits, odds and ends and stuff that I was using. So, anyways, of course, the wood slides down through here. It's just for looks right now, and I have like a little piece that's been chopped off there with the chopping block. And this doesn't work 100% of the time. Like, it doesn't always go into the hopper, but sometimes it does. Like, as you can see, this wood didn't go in there. But yeah, one piece of wood didn't go in there. Most of it went in there. But anyways, it looks a little bit better than just having a floating saw. Originally, I had it go across a table, but this felt a little bit more natural and a little bit more like a medieval lumber mill house place. So, and then if we head upstairs, we have a little area here, basically the miller's house. So it's kind of my thinking. And then over there we have another one of those little ropes. I like those things. I really like them. And then I have like just some crates. These are most of the stuff has storage space in it, so technically I mean I have storage all over this building. But then I did some hay bales and stuff there too, and a little bit of thatch right there. So maybe it's there for like, oh, I need to repair the roof or something. So, and look at that. I actually like that quite a bit. I quite like it. So it's a very, very busy building, and that's kind of how I wanted it, because like this is, you know, if you ever see like, you know, it's not actual pictures, but you see like the theoretical like looks and stuff of like the medieval buildings. I mean, there's stuff everywhere, right? Because they use their houses and their buildings like in a very practical way, and you know that's what I was going for here. And I like this because it kind of looks almost like a hemp basket sitting there. So, but anyways, one thing I want to craft real quick. We have an advancement to get, and it is the leaf bed. The bed of straw and leaves will be destroyed if broken once placed. That's fine. There we go. We got the crunchy pillows advancement, and if we pop up here, this is what this little spot's here for. We're going to put that right there. That's the miller's bed. He sleeps on straw and leaves. So this is all slab, so I have to kind of put it raised. Actually, what I might do... By the way, this little railing is the ropes from Rustic. Like what you put grapes on. I use those for like little railing. And it was the same way... there's a couple places I've used that rope throughout here. So, but yeah, I'm thinking about just kind of raising this a little bit. It's a little bit more natural, I think, like that. So, and then he's got his little shelves to put his stuff in. These are the pots from Rustic. They do open up, so. And then these, I may put something behind, I don't know. I'm still kind of playing around with those, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy with them. I wanted to hide this little section to some degree, you know. But it was nice because when you're building like a medieval, any kind of medieval building, it doesn't have to like, the stuff doesn't have to look really clean because, you know, like, it's more natural when it's not completely clean. So like having those open slats and stuff along the walls, it actually doesn't look too bad, I don't think. I'm very, very happy with it so far. And it gives me a lumber mill that's close to my wood farm that actually like makes theoretical sense. And it goes into the town very well. It doesn't actually match like the Native American architecture that's on the other side, but hey, like this could be like another town or something. They're like trading or something. I don't know. It works. It works. Don't question it. It works. Okay, so anyways, today we are going to continue on with this age. And chances are, I think we'll probably hit the end of this age. Today we're going to be focusing our time on Astral Sorcery. So let's go ahead and pop over to the other side of the river. And I don't have a ton to show you. Basically just that meal, because like I said, I literally spent, like, it was like 21 hours or something working on that. Like 21 hours of playtime working on that. It took forever. So, also, oh, by the way, one thing I want to mention, I don't have any on me. When you're placing thatch, which by the way, thatch, I went through so much thatch. So much thatch. And Galahad actually brought me some thatch. He was like, delivery, because I was going through so much thatch. And we're kind of like neighbors. Like he's, I don't know, about 500 blocks or something off in that direction. But when you're placing thatch, if you want to do a full block space, because a lot of this I had to do full block spaces because I needed the thatch visible from the bottom because we had the slats, and I needed the thatch visible from the top. So I had to do like a full block space. If you are placing a full block space of thatch, there's a bug with it. When you place the first slab down, it'll consume one thatch. After that, if you want to put another slab on top of it for that second slab, if you don't want to waste thatch, go ahead and separate the stack and just put one in your hand and place that. Otherwise, it consumes two thatch. So just a heads up. I'm going to keep that wolf stuff. I use it to repair the other wolf stuff. Because I want to put it on armor stands at some point, which I don't believe we have access to at the moment. Oh, and I am keeping the stone shovel on me. And I got an iron sword. Dropped off a zombie. The stone shovel, I do keep that on me because the AIoT cannot make paths. So, cannot make our path blocks, which is kind of important. So I do keep that stone shovel around. Okay, so anyways, the first thing they want us to do is parchment. It requires the bark from mulberry trees, which spawn out in the world. Well, it just so happens, mulberry trees, if you're looking for those, they have really yellow leaves, and they're fairly common. I've seen them all over the place, and I actually have some mulberry saplings right here. And then I believe I have mulberry wood, unless right here. Okay, so the mulberry bark, what we need to do is we need to soak it. With fluid bladder, or can we use, yeah, we can use the wood basin, which that'll work well, and do 2 crafts of it. Oh, and I fenced that in because there's just so many mobs spawning down there, and I haven't got down there to do any work, you know. One of those things, I just have so many projects that I'm going to get to it at some point. Okay, and then the soaked bark, we need to dry it into mulberry pulp. Or we can use the drying unit. Oh, that's stage 3 before we can use that. So let's go ahead and pull all this leather up. I made all this, and I've been kind of leaving it here partially for decoration, honestly, because I kind of like it hanging there, in truth. And then while we're waiting, let's go ahead and make ourselves this dung pipe, because we haven't made this yet. These 2 advancements, which this I haven't really had any need at the moment for the hunting dimension, and I know there's a bug with it that's going to be fixed in the update. It's actually, the update's actually already out, but we haven't updated yet. So we'll just go ahead and make ourselves a dung pipe, which is just slabs and planks. And I'll show you guys how this thing works. I don't have any immediate use for it right now. Originally I was thinking about using it with the kilns, but the fact that at this point, flame grilled whoppers are so cheap to make that it's like, well, not too worried about it. Oh, it's 4 slabs. And there we go. There's our dung pipe. And then what we'll do is pipe me up inside achievement. We can put it on like a chest or something, or any kind of inventory, and what it's going to do, it's going to take and pump the items out of it and just drop them into the world, is how the dung pipe works. So, you know, if you have, say, the kiln or something, whenever that stuff gets done crafting, it would toss out the item. And then you can put, say, a hopper right in front of it. It does pipe, you'll notice it drops them directly in front of it. So it's just basically like a precision dropper or something. It does drop it straight down. It doesn't just like chuck it out in like a random direction. But that's basically how that works. And I mean, that means pretty much all that. All we have to do is do the hunting dimension, which I'm probably going to wait just because there is the issue with it. And in addition, I have no actual need for it at the moment. I'm good on all the mob drops. I have tons of gunpowder, tons of rotten flesh, tons of bones, tons of shadow gems. If I need more shadow gems, all I have to do is use some of my PE energy. and they'll start spawning again. So, okay, so we got some mulberry pulp, and then we can turn it into mulberry sheets, and then we can turn it, oh, I'm not going to have, I need way more of this. And I have to hit stage 3 before I can get the netted screen, so. Well, we run this through the press. I'm going to go ahead and start running this through, and I'm going to get some more mulberry going. Oh, actually, let me show you something really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen it, oh, what's it called? It's this right here, Alico sapling. So it's 16 wheat, 4 rotten flesh, 8 rose red, and a birch sapling. Let me get that real quick, because if you guys haven't seen this tree, it's amazing. In case you're not familiar with it, it's from Better with Add-ons. And I've been meaning, I'm going to get back to the tree farm, and I got to put mulberry into the tree farm. I just haven't done it yet. I wanted to get that done, but like I said, I spent so long working on this. Because, honestly, like, the mill house was one of those buildings that I wanted this to be done before we moved on to age 2. For sure. Like, this is, like, one of the key parts. Like, if you look through the stuff that has happened in age 1, like, mechanical power, that's, like, the big one, right? So, I definitely wanted this building to be done and kind of sorted out before we moved on, because this is where all the magic happens. This is where all of our milling and stuff goes. I still find myself using the horsepower stuff a lot because I don't have a press. I can't make sticks through the cutter. You know, a lot of stuff like that. Even the grindstone, I end up using that a bit as well. So, okay, now what we need to do is we need to throw all of this into the cauldron. Okay, so the 8 rose red, the 4 rotten flesh, the wheat, and the birch sapling. Throw all of that in there. And we'll give it just a second. It's a very involved recipe to make this. And I mean, that only makes 1 sapling. But it's totally worth it, I promise. It's totally worth it. And I want some of these. Sadly, there is no planks. Okay, so the way this thing works is... Let's set this down. Let's grow this thing. That's what it does. And see that? That is creeping, right? It's like the trees from Game of Thrones is what it makes me think of. With the faces. This is just what it makes me think of. And the thing is, this thing will attract animals, if I recall, right? Is that... let's see. Actually, I know the book tells. I think it attracts animals. I tend to just use them. And you can actually pull that massage off and you can move it around and stuff. So, I wish it made the screaming a little bit more often. Yeah, it attracts animals. But you have to feed it with items. But in this case, we have to feed it like glowstone. It's going to make some cool decoration later on. So, I do plan on using it. And I love the color of the leaves and everything. So, anyways, let me make a bit more of this washi. We can also make shoji with it, but we have to hit stage 3 before we can get bamboo. And then we have to get... Yeah, stage 3 is when all the really cool stuff, honestly, like from Better with Add-ons comes in. All the ancestral Japanese stuff and all that. Like, it's a really cool mod, actually. But anyways, I will be back here in just a minute. I've got to grow up some of these mulberry trees. Alright, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and make our very first piece of parchment. And there we go. We got the something to write on advancement. And then next up, we are going to need to get ourselves the book, which is plant cloth. So 9 of this plant twine. This is like our medieval version of paper. And then we can get the Astral Tome. Oops. This is going to be my, this is going in my diary. And look at that. That is the very last one, the Link to the Stars. Complete the ritual to transform a crafting table into the Luminous crafting table. And this is the very end of age 1. I've only been on here for like 6 days of playtime. And we're just about to hit age 1. Or age 2, sorry. Which doesn't bother me a bit. I'm very, very happy. I think this pack is so much fun. So much fun in these early ages. They're so good. They're so, so good. Okay, so we are going to need a couple reinforced slates, 4 aquamarine, and a couple pieces of marble. But I mean, honestly, like, as far as this pack goes, I think the earlier ages, like age 1, age 2, stuff like that, are more interesting and more unique than the later ages are going to be. So, like, I'm not in any hurry. There's no cookie at the end of progression, so I'm just kind of like coasting along, taking my time. And so if I spend 6 days of playtime in the first era, I'm a-okay with that. So I think I'm like the farthest behind pretty much in progression, or close to it. Yeah, I think there's like maybe a couple people that are behind me, but not as far as like active play. I don't think anybody's behind me. I'm pretty far back, so, which is a-okay. Oh, don't kill me now. Let me dive in this water, actually. That pool is kind of handy. Okay, so there we go. Ah, so much lag. You lost access to stage 1 mob, you unlock stage 2 mob, you unlock stage 2, and Link to the Stars. Okay, so we've just about everything but that dimension, which, like I said, I'm in no rush. Okay, we have advancements all over the place. Welcome to the next age. Oh, look at that. Drawers. Between lands. Woolly blankets. Craft some wool from fleece and wicker. Then we have glass blowing. The new crafting tables. That's going to be nice. That's going to be very, very nice. We're going to start making paper and doing some Astral Sorcery stuff. Woo, 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 woo. Okay. Well, we've got that. I don't really know what the point of crafting this before we move into the next age is. Because, like, I feel like... I don't know. I feel like this should have been the end of it. Because, like, I didn't really do... I just made a table. I don't know. Maybe we're going to end up using it at some point for something. I mean, I know we'll end up using it later on for Astral Sorcery, but I feel like it was just kind of like, okay. Like, welcome to age 2. Like, you made a table. But now that we're in age 2, the first thing that I want to do is just a little bit of decorative stuff, which is actually going to involve us doing the glass blowing and the paper. So we'll start with that. And age 2 actually adds a lot of really nice decorative stuff, a lot of which requires iron. So we are going to try to get some iron today because we can get iron lanterns. We can also get the these iron chains as well as chandeliers. Which is kind of nice. Oh, and you know what else we can do? Oh, we have so much stuff to do. We're probably not going to tackle a whole lot of stuff out of this today. We'll do the glass blowing and the papers. We're going to get into drawers, but not this episode. I mean, we'll get into all this, but not this episode. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to make paper. I want to make a bit of this, which to make this, we have to make pulp, which can be done in the wooden basin, but strangely enough, it requires 3 sawdust and glue with 1 water to get 3 pulp in the basin. But if you do the crafting table with a bucket of water, glue, and sawdust, just 1 sawdust, you get 3 pulp. So it's actually cheaper, strangely enough, to just do it in the crafting table than the wooden basin. So, but anyways, let's get ourselves a bit of, well, I'll just get a bit of sawdust. And I've got some glue down here. And actually, let's go ahead and change this thing over to the crafting station. There we go. Just because we can and because those crafting tables are really handy. Does that lead into... yeah. But I'm not going to worry about that right this second. That stuff. So let's get ourselves a bucket. And I've got... let's see. I guess I'll just use these barrels that are over here. But it came to my attention after last episode. I was really wanting to get into the kiln. But the kiln, unless it's changed, the kiln requires the hibachi, which I noticed isn't until age 3. So we're not going to be able to make like the planters and stuff yet until we get the hibachis so that we can set up the kiln. I can already make the bellows and, you know, whatnot, but I think it normally requires the hibachi. So anyways, we're going to get some of this pulp running and we'll let that stuff dry out. And then in addition, I'm going to want to make some glass. Let me go ahead and sleep actually. And there's my thatch that's been drying. I got thatch drying there. Alright, so we're going to get some sand running and melting down. It's going to make liquid glass. And then we can pour it out into the basin and make glass with it. So glass blocks. Because I'm going to want to make some bottles. Because I want to make something nifty. And then while that stuff's smelting up and our paper is drying and all of that, there's one other thing that I would like to get into. And this is something that I mentioned a very long time ago. When we were working on the farm, I mentioned I want to get apiaries. And we're finally at the age where we can get apiaries now. So these things are not expensive at all. Only requiring wood and planks. Like that. Eventually I'm going to want quite a bit of these. I don't know how much wood I have over here. Actually a decent amount. I don't have a whole lot of planks. Oh wait. Yes I do. Okay, let's get ourselves 7 apiaries. That sounds good. Go ahead and craft it. Gonna want more than that I think, but that'll be fine to get us started. And we've got our bees. I've got 15 bees at the moment. The more bees that you have, the better. By the way, that's a mulberry tree. That's what the leaves look like. I didn't mean for this one to grow, but the saplings replant themselves, and I must have missed a sapling when I was picking those up. So, well, what do you know? This one didn't drop a single sapling. I don't think. I don't believe so. Okay, so we're going to set up our apiaries, and like I said, these do increase crop growth. And I've got little spaces here set up. I think the first one that I want to prioritize is the one over here that does the hemp. So we're going to put an apiary down right there. Then what we can do, you can see there's a slot here for bees and there's a slot for honeycombs. Now the more bees that you have, you just put them right into there and it's going to start running. Okay? And the more bees that you have, the faster that it produces honeycomb, the faster that it produces more bees, and the faster that it increases crop growth. Now honestly with 15, ideally you'll have like a full stack of bees in there for maximum speed. It does a 9x9. Okay, so I've got this spread out, or not. I've got this spread out so that the apiaries are spaced out, so it's going to cover all of this, all these middle sections. Now the side sections over here aren't actually covered by that. So I may end up putting some apiaries, you know, behind that or something. That'll be fine. But we can let this thing, yeah, say it just made another bee, so we have 16 bees in here and 2 honeycombs now. And it's going to be speeding up crop growth. Now we could either split the bees up right now and say, you know, have an apiary setting right here, and then we'll have another one setting right there, and then another one there. So 4 per side. I actually have almost enough, and then we'll put 1 here. So I could either speed them up now, or spread them out now, or I could leave them in here and let them build up the bees, because it's going to get faster. It's going to start producing more bees, more honeycomb, increase the crop growth. See, there's another bee. And so really, I think it'd be better just to dump them all into one apiary, and then when they get up to like 64, split them and take like, I don't know, maybe 16 in this one, 16 in that one, and then 16 in that one, and have 16 in all of them, and then let them all build back up, and then split them in half, like 32, and then dump 32, 32, 32, 32. I think would probably be the best way to do it, in my opinion. But it's really just whatever preference you have. And I guess if you're going to be AFK or working on other stuff, you could just leave them all in, or like split them all up and then let them build up that way, which actually, I think I might actually do that. So we'll put like 3 in that one, and say 2 in that one. Yeah, we'll just do this. It's going to take them a little bit longer to build up, but they'll be spread out from the get-go kind of a thing. And then I'll do, I guess, 4 in this one. I've still got to make 1 more apiary to put that in. But once they hit 64 bays in an apiary, they increase crop growth speed by quite a bit. Quite a bit indeed. And of course these do stack, so if I wanted to, I could remove, you know, maybe some wildberry bushes and fill in more apiaries. And I guess technically I could put our torches on top of those and remove the torches down throughout the farm and put them just on top of the apiaries. But I don't know. I think they should still run, yeah, making bees, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to play around with it, and I'm not for sure yet. But anyways, we got those going, and that means we're going to get honeycomb, which is, we do have a couple uses for it. We can make beeswax, which means we can make candles. And then we can also make honey from rustic, and we can use it for the advanced alchemy, which we can now get into, which we will be getting into before long. I don't know if it's included in the advancement stuff, but once we get up to where we can make iron buckets, which requires casting, once we get up to that point, then we can start getting into advanced alchemy and making the advanced potions, which is going to be super handy. But to do that, we have to go into the Between Lands. Some of the basic stuff of the Between Lands, it's really just, to get into smelteries, you really just have to get the blue gems, if I recall. Yeah, the aqua middle gems. Which really, if we can find a water biome, that won't take very long at all to do. We might get into that next episode, or we might not. I'm not for sure yet. We'll see. Just kind of play it by ear. But alright, so we got our paper. And now the next thing on my agenda, actually I need some hemp seeds real quick. Which honestly, in the next couple episodes, probably between episodes, I'm going to start plotting out a place for storage drawers. I do want to get into those next episode for sure, because that's going to help us out a lot. I'm going to start plotting out a place for our actual storage area to go. Because it's about time we got rid of this chest setup and moved to something a little bit better. Because, like, long-term, those totems are mainly going to be more of a decorative thing. They're going to have the nice elevators running up through the middle, and they will have a little bit of stuff in there. And then, of course, our horsepower stuff is going to be located inside of those, but for the most part, they're going to be decorative stuff. And there we go. We got the glass blowing advancement. Woo! So, we've knocked out a couple things, and that's, for the most part, well, we do have this. Upgrade your prospects, the Tough Dowsing Rod. Let's take a look and see what that takes. Requires a piece of glass, 2 pieces of charcoal, and then some logs. Okay. Which means really I need more sand. Because I'm going to turn this into glass bottles. And in the next couple episodes I also want to, I think we're at the point now where we can get into some of the basic better with add-ons multi-blocks. So I do want to start getting into some of those as well. Because some of those are quite handy. Alright, so let's get our glass bottles. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our glass bottles in with the hemp seeds. 1, 2, 3 of those. Put those together in the millstone, and what it's going to do, it's going to crush up the hemp, and it's going to make hemp oil, which is what we want. And then in addition, I'm going to need what we're working on making at the moment, which has nothing to do with any advancements, but I want to make wooden lanterns. Okay, these things are really cool looking. So I think I have, yeah, get a few of these. And I am going to need more paper to make 3 of these. But this right here, this hemp oil, this is what we want. And then we can combine it with our paper and our moldings and make our wooden lanterns. And let me actually sleep real quick, which I can kind of sleep on either side of the river because now that we have this bed here. Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't really take any damage, but now one thing I didn't think about with these wooden lanterns, if I recall, they have to be ignited, right? Let's see. Yeah, so they're not emitting any light right now. I don't think, unless it's bugged. No. Okay. So, I wonder if I can use the fire sticks to do this, or if I have to use flint and steel. If I have to use flint and steel, that's fine, but I am going to have to go get flint and steel. So, yeah, we're going to have to do it with flint and steel. That's fine, but it means I'm going to have to go get some iron before I do that. Okay, I've got some glass pouring out. Looks like for the mining advancements, they want us to find iron, hematite surface sample, gold. Stardust can be found when breaking rock crystal samples. Don't forget to mark your map because the samples will also indicate a vein of rock crystal ore beneath. Once your Astral Sorcery infrastructure is complete, you can begin making them. And then we've got lapis. Okay, sounds good. Alright, I got our piece of glass. Let's go make our tough prospecting rod. And we'll start getting into some iron. Iron I definitely want to find because of the decorative aspects of it. It's going to be really, really nice. Okay, so Tough Dowsing Rod. There we go. And achievement, upgrade your prospects. By the way, do we unlock the cooking for blockheads? No, we still don't have cooking for blockheads. Wow, okay. Alright, so we need to go out and see if we can find some iron. We're also going to have to craft up the porcelain tank, or the seared tank would work as well, which requires the clay barrel. Oh, well, I think the seared stuff is going to look better anyways. So, yeah, we'll probably get rid of that. Let me go ahead and make the clay barrel, and then when we get back, we'll cook that up. I'm going to go out and look for iron right now. And the seared bricks, yeah, we can cook those. Okay, because I've got grout made up. I made that last episode. Okay, I did find our first sample here. Lapis. Just right north of us. If you look on the map, it's just right over here. So, I'm going to go ahead and mark this. Oh, I've actually got a salt marker there too. I'm going to mark right here, and we're going to say lapis. Ah. So that was pretty easy to find. Not too far from the base. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit of that. Does it not... Oh, maybe I actually have to dig down to the ore itself. That's fine. I'm not going to mine all this lapis. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to hit the ore up. Unless it drops as an ore. I think it actually drops the metal, though. So we got to go pretty far down, though, to hit this sample. I'm going to mine a little bit of it, but I'm going to come back a bit later, and I'm going to mine up the rest of it once we have, like, a fortune pick. Because we're not terribly far from getting that. Probably in the next, I don't know, couple episodes. So, chances are it's probably going to drop as Lapis Lazuli. Okay, so there we go. There is our Lapis Lazuli. And if we break this, ta-tan, there we go, we got some lapis. So, I'm not going to probably mine all of this right now. I don't know, let's see. I don't know how big the vein is. Probably fairly large. Because I think what I'd like to do is get like a tinker's pick, and maybe get that, and then come back through with fortune. Because, I mean, there's already a stack and a half of lapis. And that's enough, I think, to get fortune 1. And this seems like it's a fairly decent sized vein. There's a lot of clay here too, which I'm going to come back whenever I come back through, because I don't have a whole lot of space. We should be able to get the next backpack upgrades, I think. I'm hoping today. Yeah, it's gold and then iron. So I definitely like to get those upgrades, and we'll come back once we get the fortune pick, because I feel like it's a waste of lapis if we don't do it with fortune. So we'll get fortune on our picks and then come back. And then what I'll do is I'll just bring the table with me and then just kind of tier it up as we go. So, anyways, off again. Let's go try to find iron and gold. I think those are my two biggies that I'm looking for, because I would like to upgrade the backpack, and I'd like to be able to get upgrade chisels. Also, the chisel from Chisel. I would like to get that too, which would be kind of handy. There's another one of those bone structures. Okay, I did find a rock crystal sample. I'm going to mark it on the map here. And we will come back to this later on. Yeah, there we go. Star power. And we'll come back to this later on and get ourselves some rock crystal. But for right now, we're going to leave that alone because we can't mine that stuff up. There's also a bunch of azurite right over here next to it. And, oh look, more rock crystal over here as well. Rock crystal everywhere. So we'll go ahead and mark this one. Still no gold or iron though. Oh, and more rock crystal over here. This stuff's so common. It's so crazy common. It's ridiculous. Alright. So that's like 3 nodes. We'll come back to this once we do a little bit of Astral Sorcery. All this rock crystal will come in handy. For sure. Oh, and right over next to it, Hematite. Literally, like, right next to it. This desert is amazing. I claim this desert for Asgard. Okay. Alright. Let's get... let me put up the horse here. Where are you going? Stop. And let's see, this spawns at Y42 to Y58, which is fairly close to the surface, actually. There's some kind of a structure over there, though. Oh, let's go check that out. Let us go... let me see. Let me actually get our dowsing rod out. Which, what Y level? We're at 49 at the moment. And we're looking for roughly where we're at. So we should already be, like, sitting on top of it. Unless maybe it didn't spawn or something. There's 4 hematite over in this direction somewhere. There's our hematite. Awesome. So I'm going to get just a bit of this. I'm not going to get a ton right now. I can come back. Because like I said, I want to find gold. I also want to check out that structure. So, but at least we have found it. And I'll probably grab like... I don't know, maybe a half stack or something. Let's see. Yeah, there's 34. That'll be good for right now, and then I'll come back later and mine more of that up. Okay, so I want to go check out this structure that's over here. I'm kind of excited for this. Okay, I have found the structure. I have discovered it. And before we go up in there, let me repair our AIoT. Black quartz is just, it's one of those things, just got to keep it on you. So what have we found here? And I wonder, is Mossy Stone, is this placeable now? Because it wasn't. I can place Moss Stone now. We have to change over my cobble. Ooh, I see chests. Oh, it's one of these structures. I don't remember which mod. I can never remember which mod adds these, but that's fine. There are some spawners inside of this place, which is good. We're going to keep these spawners, and we'll probably use them later on once we have like a use for XP. We can use these. Maybe they're spawners. I don't know. Not really hearing much in the way of mobs. Oh! And what do you know? There's no loot. Okay. Well, that's too bad. That is too bad. Okay. Oh, there is spawners, though. It's a turkey. A turkey spawner. What? Is that another turkey spawner that's over here? Tamorish spawner. What in the world is this? And I imagine this chest has nothing in it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's no dungeon loot. But what does... maybe, but they don't really seem to be spawning anything. So, maybe they're just like... I don't know, like just useless spawners or something. Yeah, they're not really spawning anything. But I'll tell you what we probably could do is get spawner shards from them. Yes, we can. Okay, that makes them worthwhile. Because eventually, a long time from now, we'll be able to use those spawner shards. I don't think... I'm not going to be able to do anything with them yet. But spawner shards tend to be fairly rare. Especially like the older a server gets. Like, they tend to be kind of rare. If it was a useful spawner, I totally wouldn't break it, but considering it's not spawning anything at all, I might as well break it down. Okay. Seems to be everything from this place. So at least we got those, I guess. Okay, so we found all the ore types that we need except gold ore, and then we can head back. And this kind of looks like it's gold. Yep, gold sample. Okay. It didn't take very long at all. Because, I mean, like, look at this. Like, rock crystal, hematite. And then that's rock crystal. And then we have lapis. Yeah, it's like all, like, pretty well packed in together. I've noticed, like, the ore in this pack, it's not terribly rare. And you tend to find, like, just tons of it. Once you go underground, it's just, like, loads of that stuff. Okay, I think gold is pretty far down, right? It is at Y8 to Y30. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get digging. And we'll be able to stock up on sand while we're here because we're going to need it for glass. Okay, there we go. It is at Y7. So it's pretty close to bedrock, so this vein might not be all that big. I don't know. But we did get the gold standard advancement. So, oh, watering can. Yeah, see, there's bedrock. So I don't know that this vein is going to be, like, huge. I may go ahead and mine all of this while I'm here. So, we'll see. Okay, this stuff is smelted up. We got our clay barrel and our seared bricks. And I got to thinking, I didn't think about it at first, but okay, there's our seared tank, and we got the smelter tank achievement. But this pack has the tinker stuff where you can change out the tool parts. So we might as well go ahead and make a pick, actually. A pick, and I'll probably end up making all the other tools, because we can start leveling them and then change out the tool parts later on, which would be handy to do. So blank patterns take bark and siding in this pack. So we'll get a fair few of these, I guess. And let's see, they want us to make the part maker and the tool station. Let's see. Let me go ahead and get this. So there's our tool station, and then the part builder. These are all pretty well standard recipe, it looks like. There's that. And then they want us to get, well, they don't want us to get anything else. But I also want the pattern chest. I do want this. And the stencil table. There we go. We got tool station and part maker achievements. Which right now we're not going to be able to make anything too crazy as far as tools go, but we can make some decent stuff. So let's go ahead and put down our, I guess we'll put it over here for right now. We'll put down our stencil table, our pattern chest, our part builder, and our tool station. And then we can access these and kind of tab between them. So I want to start with the stencil table, and let's go ahead and get the stuff that we're going to need to make a pickaxe, and we'll dump that in the pattern chest. Tool rod, binding. I'm not going to make anything too fancy right now. I just want to make some basic tools so we can start leveling those up. Let me see what kind of pickaxe options we have. I'd say bone would probably be our best pickaxe head for right now. And then I'll probably do the binding out of paper, and then the handle, the tool rod, I don't know if I want to go with just a wood tool rod, or... Yeah, I think I'll probably just make the tool rod out of wood. And that's just because as soon as we get iron, I'm probably going to make it out of iron, though. So we get magnet. But for right now, I think wood will be fine. As good as anything, I guess. Okay, I want to make some more paper for starters. Okay, and while that stuff's cooking up, let's go ahead and get our iron running, because I do want to get that stuff up and going. Because there's a couple things I would like to make. I know the episode's running pretty close to wrapping up point, but there's just a couple things I want to make. A couple different chisels, and also some nice equipment upgrades. Some major equipment well, one in particular, major equipment upgrade, and then at least our pick, and put fortune onto that. Because I'm going to be doing a bit of mining between episodes and leveling that thing up. Okay, so what we need to do, let's pull out the coal. We don't need solid fuel anymore. We're done with solid fuel. And just dump that in there. And we'll pull up the porcelain heater. We no longer need that. We'll set it right over here, and then we'll put down our seared tank. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it has to actually match. Well, that's fine. I want to start moving over to the seared stuff anyways, because of the fact that it's going to look better, I feel like. But I feel like the seared stuff looks better as a smeltery than porcelain does. It looks too clean, you know, for a smeltery, I feel like. Okay, I'm going to pop down to the beneath. I need some buckets of lava to put in there so that we have a fuel source for our smeltery, so that we can start cooking up the iron. And then as soon as that paper's done, we're going to make our pick. And put lapis on there. And then as soon as the iron's done, I just want to make a couple things real quick. And then we'll be done, I promise. Okay, so we'll just add our lava in. And of course our buckets are going to break. We're not too far from getting an iron bucket though at this point. And then we can add in our... I'm going to start with the iron. I am going to upgrade backpacks between episodes. Yeah, let's just get this stuff going. We'll get that stuff smelting up and making iron. But the backpack upgrades, they're really just tiered crafting. I'm probably going to have to make up more leather, though, by the time it's said and done, because you have to, like, tier these all the way up. Okay, so anyways, for the binding, I want to make this out of paper. You don't know how to use this yet. You need stage 3. Okay. Well, I don't think it's really going to matter because I still have it. And I'm not, like, putting it in my hand and placing it down. So maybe this will work. Because it shows up. It actually shows up as a... Or no, it didn't show up as a thing I could use. But I don't know. We'll see. If I can't use paper, I'll change it to something else. So bone tool rod. And then for the pickaxe head, I want to... Oh, whoops. I meant to make that out of bone. Not out of... let's see. What does fracture do? I can't remember. I want to say it does, like, more damage, doesn't it? Your tool's damage is increased. Well, I mean, I guess it's fine. What's the, better, though? I know the durability on this is low, but I seem to remember ecological being, like, really good. Yeah, they regenerate by themselves, which is quite handy. It is less durability. It's 240 compared to 287, but I think this is going to be better. Plus, it repairs with bone, so... Mining speed of 509, I think that's good, and we'll go ahead and take it. Yeah, so it gets the modifier from the paper binding. Even though it says we can't use that, we can actually use that. So, that works. It does in fact work. I figured it would, because if you're not placing down the item, you can still use it. So, that's good. Let's go ahead and get our first block of iron. Aha. And then this pick, we can put it in the tool station, of course, and then we are going to add some lapis to this thing. Let's get with it. You cannot apply any tool modifiers at this time. Oh, further progression is needed. So since that's the case, and I know it's probably going to be age 3 before we can use lapis, and that's like weeks away probably. Because there's a lot, I think, that I want to do in age 2 before we progress. Like quite a bit that I want to cover. And stuff, not just the advancement stuff, but in general. Yeah, so I'll probably just go back and mine the lapis. That'll be fine. Alright, and there is our first bit of iron. Ha. Okay, so now a couple things that I want to make. I really badly want to make. First up, a chisel from Chisel. And next up, oh, is that not how you make it? How do you make this thing? Is it craftable at the moment? A bit chisel. Look at the durability on that. Like, the gold one's like, doesn't even compare. This bit chisel with 10, I'm used to it taking iron. Normally it's stone, iron, gold. And then there's normally a diamond one, I think, too, but cool. So I could have made this in stage 1, legitimately. I could have swore I looked at this before and it took iron, though. So that may have been changed in one of the patches, or I'm just crazy. I don't know. So scratch that. I'm just a nutter. But I have my chisel now, which of course we can use this. If you're not familiar with it, we can use it. We can open it up and we can chisel things into different blocks, which means I can chisel all of this cobble that's here and change over this building. And then the fact that I can place moss stone down and it doesn't turn into cobblestone anymore means that I can change all of this cobble that's down here to moss stone. I'm probably just going to change the cobble that's above the water, and I may actually chisel the moss stone before I place it. I don't know for sure. But we'll see. We shall see. Oh, and I want to make a flint and steel. There's so many things I want to make. Because that lantern that we made earlier, I want to ignite that, and so you guys can see it. It's a really cool little light source. Something different. And then there's one other thing that I want to make. And if you watch Farming Valley, you're going to be very excited about what I'm about to make, because it is one of my favorite things in Farming Valley. Love this item. Probably one of the best things since sliced bread. It's awesome. It's amazing. And we're at the point now where we can actually make this. And it's going to be super handy. It's going to be so good. So for this, I'm going to keep it a surprise. We need 4 leather, which I do not... Oh, there it is. We need 4 of those. And then we also need some black dye. Okay, so we can get our flint and steel now. So there's that. And then what we can do is these lanterns. Let's go up here. I'll show you what these things look like. They're awesome. So if I put this thing down... Oh, I can't put it on slats. Some things you cannot put it on slats. It drives me insane. But let's put the lantern over here. And we can right-click with the flint and steel, and there we go. We have, like, just a nice little lantern. And in addition... I think... Oh, will this not work? Let me put it on a block, actually. If I put that... well, that's not going to work. Well, I'll put one out here, anyways, and we'll light it. It's just another light source for me to play around with, and then, of course, we also have those rustic lanterns that we can use as well. I was hoping I could hang it from that rope, but that's fine. That's fine. I just kind of wanted the rope hanging there just because. Okay, anyways, we've got our black dye powder. And now for the moment I've been waiting for. I'm so excited about this. Black dye powder. And then we take 4 leather. We take a little bit of glue. And we take some iron. Look at that. Climbing gloves. Climb any vertical surface. And you can right click to toggle on and off. And they can go into any bauble slot, so we can just pop them into any of these. And they will happily go in there. And then what we can do is, if we come out here, let's say, I want to go up here. Ha! I want to chop down a giant tree. Let me just climb up this thing. Now, you do have to watch out. As you know, in Farming Valley, you will take fall damage with these. If you just, if you just let it go. And it doesn't, if I go up and then I, try to, stop myself right before the end, I still take damage. So they can be dangerous. The best way to use them is if you're climbing up something, actually reach something. I mean, I guess technically we could get slime boots. And we can make the slime sling now. Ooh, I really want these. Yeah, give me just a moment. Give me just a moment. I'm going to make up a bunch of slime, and I want to make the slime boots and the slime sling, and then I'll also make a long sword soon. Maybe between cuts. I'll be back in just a minute. I want to make these things. Okay, first up I went ahead and made a sword. It is a bone tool rod, bone sword blade, and a paper handguard. So we'll go ahead and take... Okay, it's the way I placed it. There we go. And of course, the sword, if you hold right click, you can lunge with it. Which, if you guys have ever watched any series I've done with Tinker's Construct, you know I love the sword because you can use it to launch yourself over stuff, which is very, very handy. But you'll notice I'm taking a ton of damage, so let's fix that too. So what we're going to do is, I've got this with a couple parts in here. I'm messing with stuff. My inventory's bad, I know. How to fix it. We're going to get ourselves some slime boots. And I'm going to remove... These boots are nice for armor, but unless I'm fighting something strong, I can lose 2 armor, because it's really only, you'll notice, 1 armor bar. It's not really that big of a deal to sacrifice that. And now, we bounce. Which, of course, is super handy. It's going to make getting around a lot easier. Now, this does consume a little bit faster on hunger, but you get around so much faster. And then one additional thing that I would like to make, well, actually 2 additional things, in fact. First up, let's turn our seared bricks into block form. And actually, I only need 3 of those, didn't I? And then it's 10 blocks down the side, and we can get our tool forge. Woot. I'll clean all this stuff up later. And then we'll put this down, and now we can craft ourselves a hammer, lumber axe, scythe, excavator, all those big 3x3 tools. We can craft those now, which is awesome. It's awesome. And I'm pretty sure we can do large plates right now. Yeah, we can do them out of whatever. Okay, so we can craft those, and then in addition, I would like to get the slime sling. This thing right here. So 1 block of slime, a couple pieces of string. Let me pop over and get the string. And this will be the last thing that we're going to craft. And look at this. It's crazy. I love it. I love the longsword. The slime sling is useful to help you get started. And this plus the climbing claws, it's going to be it's going to be interesting trying to navigate with this. I'm going to turn this off for right now. Or no, actually, I want to show you one thing. The climbing claws, in addition, they do make you climb ladders faster. So, look at this. Shoom! Okay, we just need 2 pieces of string. And then I'm also going to need to break down 1 of these blocks of slime. And let's get our slime sling. Now, I know, in addition, there is another set of boots, the wolf boots, right? These right here, the wild dog pelt boots. These are really powerful. From what I haven't tested them. I know Xavier was talking about them the other day, and they give you speed 2 or speed 3 or something, constant effect and some other stuff. But I don't have any wild dog pelts. I haven't really encountered much in the way of wild dogs. So, oh, and one other thing. I know I'm like, I just keep making things. But just so that we have everything that makes our life beautiful. And this doesn't work. Bit chisel. 10 ingot and a stick. Does it have to be placed in a crafting grid? Sometimes this is the case. Yes. Okay, there we go. So we have our good chisel to do chisels and bits. We have our chisel from Chisel. We have Flint and Steel. I have access to iron. We have Tinker's Tools. We have Slime Sling, Slime Boots, Long Sword. Oh, life is beautiful. And what we can do with the Slime Sling, of course, is... Actually, before I do that, let me go sleep, because I don't know where I'm going to end up at. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Let's actually try to jump across the river. So, aim this at the ground, and... Pew! Look at that. And then, of course, we can use our long sword to help control us. And you just have to, like, keep charging it up, and then release. And you can, like, boost your height, and you have a lot of control with this thing, too. So if I want to go, like, over here and hit it right before I hit the ground, and I can kind of slow my jump. Of course, the climbing claws, I tend to, like, latch on to, like, everything and, like, keep climbing up. Oh, man. This is going to be so nice. And, okay, I just grabbed coffee. That's fine. I don't actually want this coffee, though, but whatever. So, anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. I know it ran over again. 2 episodes in a row. I'm doing terrible. 2 episodes in a row, like hour-long episodes. But, anyways, we got done what I aimed to get done. We have the stuff that we need. We have a lot of really nice quality of life stuff. The climbing claws, the slime boots, the Tinker's tools and weapons, the slime sling. I can get to the ore so fast now. Using the slime sling and the longsword, I can get back over to where I need to go mining so much easier. We have the tool forge, so I can craft the hammer, which I'm about to do. So it'll make mining super, super easy. And the lumber axe, I can make one of those and chop down like whole trees at a time, just, which is going to be nice. And yeah, and then we can upgrade them as we go. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. Next episode, there's a fairly good chance that we will probably be starting out with blood magic, because I do want to get into wheel stuff, and then because I really like to get the Sigil of the Blood Lamp. That's the next major quality of life thing that I want to go for. After that, depending, we might start with storage drawers, we might do some Between Lands, we might do some Astral Sorcery, or we might do some of this section here. That's pretty much what it is. It's like storage drawers here, Between Lands, miscellaneous stuff, and, which I might actually be able to mine rock crystal. I'm not for sure. If I can, I'm going to go by there and look. If I can mine it, I may go ahead and mine it between episodes, so I may have this advancement knocked out. We'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.